Right, so it's a bit of a Saab update for you. So it's yeah, all going really well at the moment, running nicely, which is great, and having lots of fun in it. The summer's been a bit crap, to be honest, in the UK, but there we are. But we're trying to make the most of it when it's not raining. So anyway, lower springs are great, handles loads better, sort of tighten the feel up of the car. And we've got the 15mm spacers on, so the front looks really good. The back needs to be a bit wider, but I'll show you what I've got in a minute. And then done a couple of bits to the engine bay. So there we are. So we've got the DO88 turbo inlet there, and then I've replaced all the vacuum lines as well, because they can go brittle and cause issues. So that's that all done. I'm also going to be making my own heat shield for the ECU, because that sits just above the manifold, inlet manifold there, and heats up and causes problems. So that's that. We're going to look at that. And since you last saw it, I'll put some pictures up. But me and my old school friend did all the aluminium corrosion along here, which looks loads better now. We did that with rattle cans. So the colour match isn't perfect, but you know, for probably 60 quid, you can't really complain, to be honest. It looks a hell of a lot better than it did. Maybe down the line we'll get the whole back end painted and tidy that up a bit. So that's that. Oh yeah, another thing I've done is swapped out the steering wheel. So it's got an aero steering wheel now, so it's got a bit sort of chunkier bits around here and here, and just a bit of a thicker wheel. So that was 30 quid from eBay delivered, so that bolted straight on and makes the car a bit nicer to drive. So yeah, talking of spacers, let's go in the garage and I'll show you what's just arrived. So got, like I say, got 15mm all round, but the back wasn't quite right, so I'm going to sell those 15mm ones, and I've got some 25mm ones. So these are a slightly different design, so you need to basically put these bolts in here so they're sort of flush, as you can see, bolt those on to the hub and then use the original wheel bolts in there. So we're just going to jack the car up and get that done, and I'll sort of show you once it's been sorted out. And like I say, I've got the bits to make up a heat shield. So I've got these little rubber doofers and some of this Bakelite sheet here, so I'll show you making it up as well. So first things first, we'll get these spacers fitted and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Right, so there's our 15mm spacer, which we'll just take off and give a clean up and put to one side, and then we'll bolt this one up next. So this will quite simply sit like that, and we'll line it up like that, and then put the these shorter silver bolts in. I'll put a bit of copper slip on there, and then whack those in, and then we'll bolt the wheel up. Job done. Right, so that's that all bolted up, as you can see. So now we'll just grab the wheel and the standard wheel bolts, which came on the wheels. They look a bit rubbish, but I've got little caps to go over them, so it'll hide that up. And then we'll see what it looks like when it's jacked down. So that's the wheel bolted on. We'll just chuck the little plastic caps on and then have a look what it looks like on the floor. There we are. So that's one side done. So that looks loads better now. Kind of matches the front, as you can see. So really happy with that. So it'll give a bit of a side profile. So I don't think we'll get any scrubbing either, because it's not quite poking out flush, which is kind of what I want, as we do have all the kids and everything and dogs in it and all that. So that looks really cool. I'll crack on with the other side now, and I'll give you a bit of a walk round. Then it's on with that ECU Heat Shield creation. Right, in typical English fashion, it started raining, so the roof's gone back up. But anyway, that's it done with the spacers all on, and that looks loads better. So just again, 15 on the front, which looks pretty good, and then we've got the 25mm on the back, and you can just see them poking in there between the disc and the wheel itself. So it looks loads better. So yeah, really happy with that. Looks pretty smart now, the old girl. So yeah, like I say, ECU Heat Shield next, then we'll get it stage 1 mapped. Right, so we're going to have a go at making this ECU Heat Shield today with all the bits I showed you yesterday. Just disconnected the battery, as you can see, and now we're just going to carefully remove these clips. There's a video on Noob Tunes website on how to do this properly, so check that out, as you don't want to damage these clips or the plastic bits on the side there. So we're just going to whip these off, then take the ECU out, and then start chopping some stuff up. So I've just taken the two 10mm bolts off these studs here, so then we can lift this out the way like so, and then get access to the other 10mm bolt there. So we'll just unbolt the ECU now and then get it in the workshop and yeah, get cutting. All right, so that's the ECU removed, and obviously you can see the issue there with it sitting right on top of the hot engine and these heating up and going wrong. So anyway, I'm going to take this into the workshop, sort of mark out the holes, and then we also need to figure out a earth strap as well. I need to make one of those, so we'll just get this in the workshop and have a measure up. So we're just going to basically position this here with a bit of overhang, not too much, so it all fits in, and then we'll just basically mark our line around here, mark these holes up where it needs to bolt through, and then basically cut it out with a disc cutter. Obviously this stuff's probably, I imagine, like fiberglass, so I'll wear a mask, what have you, and then we'll get these bobbins, screw through this down into the inlet manifold, and then get some shorter bolts to go in the top, and then make up a extra lead for the earth. So let's get cutting, as I've said a million times. All right, so it's pretty easy. So we got that marked and cut out there, so that will sit there nicely like so. So we'll peel the, there you go, all the holes line up fine. So we'll peel the backing off and then go to the car and then get this mounted up. All right, so just put a little blob of thread lock on these anti-vibration bobbins. So just going to wind these in like so, which I'm trying to do left-handed. There we go. Oops, cross thread them. There we go. So just wind those in, and I'll put another bolt in the top there, and then just sort of torque them down so they're tight, and then we can put the ECU back on top. And as you can see, you know, we need to run some shorter bolts than these stock ones, as these you know, will be too long and won't obviously hold the ECU properly. So I'll just probably get some hex head ones in there in a minute, and then we need to look at doing something with the earth strap there as well. Right, so that's all mounted up, and typical, it's bloody raining, but there we are. I'll keep the ECU out of the way. So basically we're just going to plonk that back on there, use some new hardware, thread lock that, and then we should be good to go once we've made the earth lead. Right, so that's the ECU all bolted in. You can see I'm just using the original earthing strap there going through there, and I think these bolts are about M6 by 10 or 12, but obviously just I've got a box of them, so it's fine. Yeah, just got that covered up to keep the moisture out of the pins. So yeah, that's that. And you can see I've sort of rounded the edges there, so yeah, there's clearance between the pipes, so just, I know it probably won't move, but just in case you want to get a bit of clearance there as well. So yeah, that's that. So we're going to go and make up the lead now, which is going to come from here over to here, just to earth the ECU out, apparently, from what I've seen online. So we'll just knock that up now. So I've got the bits here to make up the cable. So these are just bits I had in the workshop. I race RC cars, so I've got plenty of this nice silicone wire and other stuff. So we're just going to fire the soldering iron up, and then make this lead up, get it on the car, and job done. Right, there we have it. So that's all been routed quite neatly around the back there. So that's it, job done. So we're just going to plug these back in. Then if you want to run the heat shield, I've got the long studs on mine, so I'm just going to basically put a nut under this just to raise it up a bit, and then probably put the heat shield back on the car. I might not, we'll see. Right, I don't know if you can quite see it. I'll try and look round this way to see if we can spot it on camera. Oh, there you go, you can just about see it there. So basically I've put a nut underneath the bracket there, and then just the original nuts back on top, so it's sort of flush at the top, just to basically lift this up, and then you can obviously run the cover on if you want. I might just cut some slots in the cover to let some of the heat out, but this look a bit smarter with the engine cover back on. So we'll go and do that now. Okay, 1 down, 2 to go. So basically what I did was I drilled a 6mm hole there, then one there at that end, and I got the multi-tool, basically ran it along this line here, and I flipped it over like so, and then I ran it along the backside like that, and then basically got the Dremel and the file. So sort of got the file, basically cleaned it all up, ran it around with a blade just to get all the melted plastic off. And that's how I've done it. So it looks fairly neat so far. It's not 100% perfect, got a little bit there, but you know, doesn't notice too bad from a distance, does it? So I'm gonna get on with these two, and then we'll pop the cover back on the car. There we are, that looks pretty cool. So yeah, I've just done the edges with the Dremel, sort of smoothed it all in, so we've got quite a nice line. I'm just gonna hit it with some GT85 just to give it all a bit of a clean up. The other thing I want to do is the bolts are a bit rusty and disgusting, so I'm going to give them a quick clean up, stick them in the drill that way, spin them around with a bit of sandpaper, then give them a quick paint. And we'll get it on the car. Right, there you go, that's all done. So you can see the obviously vents there for the cooling of the ECU. So yeah, so apologies, it's still bloody raining, surprise surprise, but we'll give this all a nice GT85 and a clean up once it's stopped, and then that'll be that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. And oh, by the way, the total cost for the parts from eBay for that fiberglass type Bakelite and in the rubber mounts was about £15 including delivery, so pretty cheap mod to do. You can obviously buy them pre-made from NoobTune if you're not a tinkerer like me, but there we go. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.